Good afternoon. It is Sunday, May 30th, Memorial Day weekend. What do we do to remember? We come out and reflect in the garden. And what do we do in the garden? We plant. I've been telling you we weren't going to plant sweet potato slips until Memorial Day weekend. It's here, so come on, let's plant. While I was waiting for you, I did a little recon this morning. We got our kale and our Swiss chard from last year. Right here is where that great big sweet potato came out of. So why mess with success? Let's go ahead and start right here. I don't think we're too close to the peppers. We found last year if you plant them real close to the peppers, they draw a lot of water and the peppers suffer. I don't know if they like the peppers, but I know the peppers don't like them. Well, come on over here and let's take a look at what we got to work with. If you remember us potting up slips the other day, these are all the giant ones. We have more slips in water rooting, some more slips in some cups. I don't know if you remember, but these are the two tops that weren't doing anything that I decided we had to try something. So they're doing really well. But this is what we're still getting. We're almost to the end of the sweet potatoes we dug up last year, but we're still getting good slips like this. And we also have a bunch of purple sweet potato slips. But I think we're going to go ahead and start with the giants. Got a little bit of mulch here, but it's amazing how fast this stuff breaks down. Look how nice that soil is. Coming on third year. We'll just break it up just a little bit right here. We're going to plant. Now, if you remember the video where we potted these up, we had 3 that had pretty good roots on it. This is that triple that had no roots on it. Let's go ahead and plant this very first one right where its parent potato came out of. I know we call them sweet potatoes, but they're really not potatoes. They belong to the morning glory family, and this is why we want to plant them different than we do potatoes. You know, potatoes you can just put on the ground or dig a hole and bury them, and they'll go ahead and the plant will come up and the tubers will form. Sweet potatoes, if you plant the tuber, all you're going to get is really nice leaves. So I've just got it planted right to the surface there, but this whole thing will root. And we found that out last year when we had an army of sweet potatoes growing everywhere underneath roots. So I'm going to put a little more soil on it. Then I'm also going to backfill. I'm just going to cover up those leaves that were there. I'm going to cover that up to there. This whole thing will root, and hopefully we'll get another giant sweet potato. And there's one. Now we've sort of been using this as a walkway, but we did put that one sweet potato underneath the bale. I'm going to go ahead and come straight across. We'll do 3. I think we're going to do them in 3s. So I'm going to come straight across. I'll pull a little bit of this out of the way. Make it very apparent that there's a sweet potato right there. Nice little mat of leaves on top of that. We're going to come over. Here's pretty deep actually. And this is in wood chips right here. Now once again, that's a worm. Thank you. And there's his buddy. Thank you. You got to get down to the soil. You got to get through the wood chips down to the soil. That's enough messing around. Let's get some slips in the ground. This is another one that had roots on it when we potted them up. See how nice those roots are? I'm just going to lay this vine over, and I'm going to put the mulch over the whole thing. Give it a nice little drink. Since I use a variety of different mulches, we're going to kind of get an idea of what might work best. This is heavy wood chips, that's heavy hay, and that was heavy leaves. See, these aren't horribly overrooted, but they're making nice little roots. I'm just going to backfill this one. He wants to stand straight up, so we'll just backfill that all the way up. When it gets long enough, when he gets big enough that he's going to start laying over, we'll mulch over the top of that a little bit. Now if you got a little bad spot, don't worry about, just pop it off. They may lose all their leaves before they really get going. Not worried about that at all. But we want to get them a good start. Okay, we're going to try this triple right here in the middle. When we pulled this off the big potato, remember this was a triple and it didn't have any roots at all. We're going to see what we got going on here now. Man, this dirt, this soil is just awesome. I don't want to take it down too deep because I don't want to have to dig too deep. The more mulch you have over the top, the closer to the surface your potatoes will grow, the easier it is to harvest. See, and if you remember, this one had no roots on it at all. And look at those roots. Look how nicely that's rooted. So we'll get her down in here. This one wants to lean over, so I'm going to go ahead and accommodate. And we'll just add some mulch. And we'll let it all root. Get these leaves and this hay back in over here. There's that triple. I was asked about the blue buckets the other day. I'll tell you, there's just water in them. It makes filling up this watering can a lot easier. I like the watering can because you're not splashing, you're not hosing. Okay, let's get another one without roots that started its life without roots. This is a really good candidate. Then once again, you can see how nicely this is rooted. Let's get it down in there. We've decided to go ahead and use the cold frame beets and kale as a edge to as far out as we want to plant. We really don't want the vines going up into the tomatoes. And it doesn't look like much now, but in a couple months, this is going to be a sea of green that we can't walk in. Well, let's go ahead and get some more of these in. I had a suggestion from our gardening community and from my wife about how neat it would be to have a sweet potato or two in the straw bales. So let's go ahead and see what we can get here. Put it in this end. I got basil on the other end. That's got a little leaf coming on, but it's got really nice roots. Got a decent purple slip there and a really nice purple slip there. Let's get back at planting the rest of these slips. Purposely went ahead to plant these two up here where I have more wood chips and it's a little thicker, a little deeper. These were the tops that had sort of stalled out. And since these are not potatoes, if you just plant the potatoes, all you're going to get is leaves. But we have some roots coming off of these. We're going to put this in really deep.
We're gonna make sure that we bury the vines and they have a chance to root. And this ought to make a really nice little cluster of sweet potatoes. Holding with that theory, we got the same thing going over here. We got soil in between these vines. They ought to come out in all different directions.
We got a couple left over from our last giveaway.
Okay, we have 5 spaces left. We got some pretty good slips on these. Let's see, let's find a nice, decent slip.
That one's got roots on it. From our potato patch to our sweet potato patch. And that's all there is to it. A couple hours work in the garden. See what we get. I want to thank you for stopping by and helping me plant sweet potatoes this afternoon. I especially want to thank everybody that served so that I had the freedom to come out here and do what I want to do. And for everybody else, until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your family. Be safe on this Memorial Day weekend. God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.